Welcome, paranormal seekers, and let us go into the abyss. Join us to open your mind, both of your ears, and all three of your eyes, and discuss all things supernatural. We believe that we all learn from each other, and we all have a lot to learn. What will you learn today? Here are your hosts, paranormal investigator Shawn Gilmore and chaos witch Zarina Crow.
Oh, I can't believe that's the last time. Can I play that one more time? Zarina Crow. We'll do it. We'll do it at the end. We'll do it at the end.
Crow life. Oh, but
We're gonna play one last time. Everybody, this is a very special show for two reasons. One, we have an awesome guest, Robbie Thomas. We're just gonna jump right in. How's it going, Robbie?
I'm going great. And how are you guys?
fantastic.
I'm doing awesome too. Also, Robbie, I don't know if you know this, but this is going to be Zarina's last show on Into the Abyss. So it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. Yeah. But I couldn't think of a better way to send Sister Zarina off into the real world. It's almost like pushing the baby bird out of the nest.
I am no way a baby bird, man.
Not at all, but it's kind of.
I will eat your bones and all. You know, I'm a chaos bitch.
He's a mean bird.
Oh, she's like that turkey vulture, you know?
Turkey vulture.
Look, you know, I'm just saying. I'm really innocent, though.
Yeah,
she's a good girl. She's nice.
Yeah. Well, she's nice. I don't know about the innocent part, but she's nice.
I don't know about nice.
Means well.
Never been in my vocabulary, Robbie.
So sweet. So nice. She's innocent.
So
let me sip my tea. Just saying. Okay, go ahead.
Tell us about your special tea today, Zarina.
Zarina, I'm gonna do my Vanna White shit. Is rocking some Malibu, pineapple rum. Just saying, it's all good in the hood.
Making us jealous. We're all wishing rum.
Water out of the cup.
I have tea. At least I have iced tea. At least got some
water.
So. Sean, what's your tea today, boo? What's your tea?
What this is? This is my. It's whenever I'm drinking iced tea, it's always Arnold Palmer. Always.
I know, but that's not what I'm at. Tea is like chisme, the gossip, what the hell's going on? You know, step up your game, Sean. Get with the vocabulary.
I'm not hip.
You're not fleek, bro.
I don't even know what you said.
How are you ever keep up if I am not here to keep you up on vocabulary words?
I don't know. I guess I'll have to depend on my kids.
Huh?
I'll have to depend on my kids.
I know. I'm just telling you. I am in TikTok rehab. I removed it off my phone. It's like crack. I can't handle it. I had to
through like a social media like detox.
I'm a house party girl. I love my house party. That's my shit. That's where all my people, we banging out and hang out, had a good time. You know, so that's my place.
That's your place.
Or their home.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, my home slices.
Home slices.
So, Robbie, I want to hear about what you do. I know you have a book that we're going to talk about and everything, but how can you just kind of introduce yourself to everyone who's tuned in right now, and then we're just going to build off of that.
Sure.
We aren't scripted here. We just hang out and have a good time.
That's good. I am a husband who does the trash, does dishes. I get yelled at a lot.
Me too.
I leave my socks all over the place. That's as far bad as I can get. And then I live in a house of estrogen, so it's all girls. I'm pretty much owned. That's my destiny. Yeah. Other than that, I'm an author. I've been a published author since 17 years now. Been in the paranormal since 1978. A lot of people do know that. A lot of people don't know that. I've been working with law enforcement in solving murder and missing persons cases since 1990. So it's been 30 years for me, this anniversary. And I've struggled along, and I mean, I've been everywhere in the United States, Europe, Canada. I've done cases in Australia. You know, it's just been an on and on thing, and it's been a different flavor and a different day. We can call it that if you will. And, you know, been down the producer line for different shows. I've been filmed by America's Most Wanted and Film Crew and Lamport and Shepherd. I think it was 2012 or 11, around there. Double Homicide. I got the chance to work with all the top police agencies you can think of, from international Interpol to CIA, FBI, U.S. Marshals, over here in Canada as well. And here's the flavor, being my father's side being American and me being my mom's side being Canadian, and finding out now that I'm French Indian. So, you know, I get to travel back and forth, and both countries are mine, more or less.
Nice.
Yeah, it is, you know. And we had this discussion prior to the show, is we hope this pandemic, we can get a handle on it so that people can live and we can start to do things. I'll tell everybody right now, what you're seeing on TV is everything that's been put in the can last year and a long time ago. So, and then reruns, right? So I've been in the television for a long time. Been in movies, Dead Whisper 2005, The Sally House in 2007, Paradox in 2009, Return to Al Capone's Speakeasy 2010. You know, filmed various series, and been in over 30 magazines worldwide in the last 20 years. So there's quite a bit. But that's enough about me. Let's just talk about you guys.
Well, I don't know. I've been on one show, Paranormal Survivor, in Canada. I was for one case there, and I was also on Paranormal Case Files, which also airs in Canada and the States. But that's it. Like I'm published in a couple books, but it's like a story. I don't have my own book, so I'd rather talk about you. You're far more interesting.
Nah.
Speaking of your book here, I'm going to try and bring it up here now. It's right here. It is. And I have your website listed on the ticker on the bottom, so you can just go. It's RobbieThomas.net, correct? Did I say that correctly?
That's correct. Yes.
And so this is the title of his book. Where all can we find your book? Because we're gonna dive deep into this book, because there's some amazing cases that you have in there.
Yeah, you can find that on any online store. There were various stores carrying it. A lot of people go in, and if they're out, what they'll do is they'll order it in for people. So, you know, don't be shy to bring them. I think it's called the ISBN number. That's what you need to bring in. That's right. And then they'll order it in for you. This is my 10th book out of 17 years. So, you know, I've done the paranormal stuff, and I've done the horror stuff, the paranormal horror, and I've done spiritual books, and then I've done the murder cases. Now, in this book alone, this is 30 years of my life that's in this book. You have cases that were featured on America's Most Wanted, which I got the call to go in and help solve, and we'll dive into those cases very shortly.
So I just actually, Celia, she says, poor Robbie, so many females in the house. You know what? I've been outnumbered by women my entire life. That's seriously the story of my life. Now I'm lucky. I have a son, and I have a male dog. So, but I have 2 daughters and my wife. So we're still outnumbered, but you know, we're trying to even it out with the dogs.
Yeah, well, I tried too, but we ended up with all. Well, no, actually, I got 2 male bunnies,
There you go.
Yeah, I got bunnies. And I got a chinchilla, which is a female, and I have a hamster, which is a female. But every other animal we ever had was always female. So other than the other 2 rabbits who passed. But I have 3 girls. One's out of the house. I got 2 still home. One is a PSW, and she's working right now. And the other one's going to be a vet tech. And soon I hope they leave the house, damn it. But anyways, no father wants their daughter to leave the house. That's my estrogen story.
Yeah.
A lot of people who do know me, who see me tonight, know my wife, Leisha, because I bring her on every convention we go to, every speak I put on, any tour I put on, she's right there with me. She comes on all the cases with me, right on the death scenes. And she actually gets to speak with all the law enforcement.
Really? My wife, she hides at home. She wants nothing to do with the paranormal, nothing to do with anything that I do that might remotely be spooky. So she totally supports me. So at least I have her total support as long as she's at home and as long as I don't bring anything home.
Right.
If I can help it.
Right. You're a good guy.
Well, I'm just single. I do everything by myself except for my ghost roommate. And his name is Harry. So pretty much me and Harry just hang out.
Harry?
Yes.
Couldn't you pick a better name?
I could. Probably I would, but I just call him Harry.
Stanley would have been a good name.
What is it?
Oh, man.
Stanley? I don't know. I do have a Jen. He's pretty cool, but he's very aloof. He always likes to stay within his own kind of little space, so.
Yeah.
Darren Smith says that were you supposed to go to Licking County Jail?
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of my favorite places. If you get to go. If you get to go after the virus goes, I know that the jail is one of the locations that's still closed.
It's in the mix again. It's in the mix. We had to cancel the tour. I didn't want nobody getting sick. Because my one daughter's on the front lines, so I know what everybody's going through. Mm-hmm. So I don't want nobody to get sick. So we had to cancel, and it's good anyways because the border got closed.
Right.
And so there's no way to transport.
You don't want to be stuck here.
No.
I don't blame you.
That was a quiet, polite no. No, sorry. But anyways, we're in the remix of this. We're putting it back together, and I'll make him happy because I've already been speaking to Lori. I think it's Lori. I forget all these people's names. There's so many places. But we're talking about that, and I hope they have me. I hope they do.
Well, I'm sure. Darren Smith, he's one of the guys here who works with the Licking County Jail. That place is awesome. I've been there a couple times. Yeah. I've helped them with tours. Him and Terry Long, who run the Paranormal. Right. They're both fantastic people. So they're very easy going and
absolutely.
And the history there is so cool, and the place is just one of the. It's like I love going there. It's like one of those places that it won't disappoint you. One way or another, you're going to have some sort of activity. So at least every time I've been there, I think I've been there like 3-4 times now.
Right.
I've had some sort of experience while I was there. So.
Oh, good. See, my whole tour is based on presenting all the cases and putting everybody on scene with me. And then everybody who feels they have the initiative of having the ability, I'm going to bring case files and see how far they can get in a case file to see if they're correct or not. Because when you're on a case with law enforcement, there's no time to second guess. You can't have wrong answers. You have to be precise. So that's what I was going to do and try to, more or less, we'll call it train people, but help them, to guide them, right? And then I'd speak about the case in Ohio I did with U.S. Marshals. And then I would speak, certain areas where I go. Indiana, I speak on cases in Indiana I've done. Speak on cases in Kentucky I've done. All the way down the line.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Actually, we had the U.S. Marshal coming out. So it would have been really a double whammy for everybody to say, wow, the guy's here with the law enforcement. And they're putting the case right here for us. Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. So the case for the Licking County Jail, is it the one that you're looking at there for the marshals? Is that the one pertaining to the what's his name? I can't think of the guy's name now. The it was a kid that, oh my gosh, I need to brush up on my history. There was a kid, he said he was a marshal, right? And he ended up getting lynched or something, right? Am I mixing two stories?
Yeah, you're getting two different. No, I did one in Columbus, Ohio with the U.S. Marshals, right? And a very detailed, high-profile case. And it was about a gentleman who got shot, but went back into a house with fire. And I had the family come out to the hotel, and it packed the hotel. But it's really fun. We're going to start from the beginning so everybody gets an idea about this case.
Okay, is this one of the cases from your website? I'm going to pull it up.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No. So I get a call for this case in Ohio, and they send me a photograph of the back of the house. The U.S. Marshals did. Read this. So I did. I read the house, and I gave them precise information where they said, we want you to come to Ohio now. So I come down to Ohio, sit down, and at the time we got a big, I guess a banquet hall room. We had the family. It was huge. The family came in. In that audience, when I started talking about insurance money going one way, changing hands, gun being buried in the wall, why the walls were teared out at nighttime during their investigation, there was a perp's friend sitting in the audience. He had his phone in the aisle. So I got my eye on this guy, and you can see the light from the phone because it's dark, and I'm having a presentation. And I'm talking about everything with the U.S. Marshal. So I slowly make my way down the line, and I say to the guy, and I know we're open to speak raw language here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
so
no filters here.
Okay, good. So, like on scene, I do anything, right? For any suspect I get to talk to, this is how I talk. So I walk down and I said, what the fuck you got your phone up for? I said, I know what you're doing. And he closes the phone, and he stands up, and he walks directly out the door. Lady turns around. She goes, oh, that's one of the perp's friends. And he had the phone open while I was discussing the case, but I knew he was there, so I was setting it up so they could hear exactly what I was saying. So I wasn't giving any great detail away to them, knowing that we're going to be busted. So it was just, hinting on certain things. After he leaves, I give all the information to the U.S. Marshals and what have you. So that was a very, very particular case I wanted to talk at the Licking Jail. And when Roger comes in with me, the biggest part was I said to Roger the night before I stayed at his house, I said, I wrote down all the particulars, and I said, put this in your pocket. And I said, you show me that. When I start talking about the files and everything, and when they bring the card in, and when they brought the card in, it was boxes and boxes of files, and the U.S. Marshal guy goes, there's no way you could possibly know anything that's in here. I said, Roger, you got that paper? And then Roger pulls the paper out, and he listed it all, one after the other, how insurance money transferred hands, went from the one female to the father, how the house got overpriced in insurance. They collected on that. It was all on the paper. So it just nailed them. They pieced it all together. And that was one of the cases I wanted to talk to there. But now I'm not going to be able to talk to it because everybody's listening.
Well, hopefully, it's still, so you go in and you research these cases and then
no research. Okay. I'm sent a photograph. Okay. And if I pick up anything on that photograph, they fly me out. So I've been flown to Washington, worked with the CIA and the FBI out there, in Kentucky, double homicide in London, Kentucky. And I was brought on a radio show by a police officer who I worked several cases with. And he asked me a little bit of information on air, which I should never give information on air, but it tied in perfectly because we went down there and it was a lot of corruption, a lot of different other aspects that built into this case. And actually that's in the book, that one we're talking about right now, that's in the book. And that's on my front page of my website. People can go to, scroll to the bottom, and you can see CBS covered it, NBC covered that case, the newspapers there, the clipping, and the family. Very, very detailed, high-profile case there.
Yeah, let's do that. So that's, you said it's down at the bottom.
The first page. That's all the different other cases.
Oh, so this is on the. So I need to go back to the original page.
Yeah, go to the very home page. There you go. Scroll all the way down.
All right.
And right there's, I think that's CBS News right there.
Yes.
And then if you there's the gentleman and his son who were murdered. And there's a little bit of a video. People can listen to that too. And there's the newspaper, and then the story, and there's a little bit of write up about it.
And you work these cases just by simply tapping into a photo. And tapping into spirit.
Absolutely.
That is fantastic. I'm an empath. Zarina says I'm leveling up, but I couldn't imagine like having the gift to be able to do something like that. And go check out the website. And
I did that on a similar level, not as much as he has, but I have been involved with cases and investigations. I solved a 10-year-old, closed case, murder case. So when you work with investigators, it's a very, very interesting aspect of being a psychic, also, helping with missing people. But, also you still deal with the emotional aspect of when you get the visions or you see certain things. Or for me, it was definitely the smell of the body, that just caught me like, wow, so it has its good and it has its bad perks to it. So just
Absolutely.
wanted to, yeah.
Now, if you scroll down this page,
okay,
there should be a diagram. Yeah, you keep going. These are different cases here too.
Yep.
And keep going. That little girl, that was America's Most Wanted feature. There's those two gentlemen right there as well. Yeah, keep going. I think it's the next one right there. No, back up. Yeah, right there.
This guy. Okay.
This guy right here. Now that diagram, all they sent me was the little boy's photograph. Now I don't know if his little boy's photograph is there. If you scroll down a little bit more.
No.
Is it? No, it's not. Okay. I got the call the day before Canada Day. We do July 1st. You do July 4th.
Right.
And I never say no, but that day I did. I had company in the backyard, and for some reason, and thank God for my wife. I mean, I said no. I'm too busy, and it's not like me. I never say that, right? So it was an urgent call. He just went missing, and they need me. I hung up, and she was in the doorway, and she says, "No, you don't do that. You call them back. People can leave." So that's what we did. I called back. In an hour and so, as you see my diagram right there, I'm getting flashes from this 4-year-old boy who's gone missing. But prior to him, I'm getting my angels and guides, and I'm finding, stadium lights, and you see those 4 circles off I put. And if you stood on the murderer's front porch and you look through the clearing across the street, it was Papa John Stadium. And in Papa John Stadium that night, the lights were off. So I started putting down John, and the name John came up just by the lights. So it was Papa John Stadium. Then I started talking about a repeat offender of 2 young boys. And I write that down on the piece of paper. While the scumbag sitting next to my diagram was a repeat offender of 2 young boys, sexually assaulted 2 young boys. Sorry. So that fit the MO of him as well, Cecil, right? So then I started going through all these motions, writing things down, and then there's a break. And in that break, I could feel that his life was being taken. It was going away, gone. And so I said to him, when I got back in, it must have been about 5-10 minutes. It was like a void. That's how I can explain it to people. It was like a void because it was just nothing. It was like you and me sitting down, just staring at one another because there's nothing in there. When we're done our conversation, there was just nothing. And all of a sudden, I'm back in, and I'm seeing the boy, and he's showing me dogs, cadaver dogs. And then I started to say, look, I need his fucking name. And that's how I was. I was really upset. I said, I need his fucking name. And sure enough, he gives me the name Cecil. And if you scroll above the monster's head, my diagram, scroll down, yeah, you'll see above his head, I put Cecil.
Oh, right there, Cecil.
And I put an arrow. So I said, that's the man who did it. And I'm getting all this other information. And so then now it goes to NBC News, and it goes to, I think it's Wave 3 News in Louisville, Kentucky, and The Detective. And then all my diagrams, and then here's the aerial shots of exactly what that diagram was and where he was. And sure enough, Cecil held the boy down in his tub and drowned him because the little boy was playing out front. And when I said orange men and vests and orange flags, well, in front of his house, they were doing construction, only his house. And they had flags. So the police knew exactly where to go. And they went and knocked on his door. And they said, have you seen a little boy? He said no. They went back to get a warrant. But by then, he took his body and put it in the trash. But we caught him. He went on the lam. And December 7th, I believe, and it says it on the picture. I can't see it, but it's this when they captured him. And he's in jail now forever. When he got wind of all the information we brought forward and how they found him, he made a plea deal, and it's life without parole, and that's what he got. Unfortunately, we lost a 4-year-old little boy.
Wow. But you helped catch the guy that did it.
That's right. That's right.
So that's right. I mean, you gotta take the win where you can, as horrible as it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, we talked earlier about a fellow friend of mine, Keith H.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Keith was following this case because he's in Louisville, Kentucky. So between me calling and talking to the liaison in Louisville, the detectives, the news people, the phone never stopped. I was talking to Keith, and Keith was following this back and forth. And I think he put a little something written there years ago, and I put it down there. It goes like what you just said. It's a bittersweet, something like that. But you described the man to the T, and in the bittersweet, we caught him. And so yeah, that's what happened.
Wow. But that guy, he's behind bars, right?
For life.
Good.
For life.
That the guy's energy is just disgusting.
Yeah, terrible. And you can see the clothing he's wearing, the tracksuit.
Yeah.
If you read down there, I write he's wearing a tracksuit.
Let's try and zoom back into that. I mean, just the fact that you got the name is, I mean, that's insane. Here. What happens if I do that? Oh, there it is. No, we just want to see the picture, not that.
We have now went to Pinterest. Is there anything for sale?
So, wow. We'll go back to the 1%. Okay. So wow. But you helped solve that case, and you got the man's name. And then you could see it looks like a Google map image where how it looks like how you were able to piece it all together.
I literally pieced it all together and led them right to his front door. Within an hour and a bit of me being here and getting the information to them there, they were able to go to his house. And when I say Papa John Stadium, yeah. And if you look through the clearing, straight across the road, Papa John Stadium is right over there. And those big, tall lights, when I put the lights were off, they were only off that night. Usually they're always on, but they were off that night.
You said that he did this because he was in Cecil's yard?
they were doing construction, and the little boy wandered over that way and picked flags up out of the ground. You know, those little markers that for gas lines and things. So little boy was inquisitive and just playing.
Oh,
and so being a sexual repeat offender of 2 other boys, which he was, and I don't understand how they let him out of jail for that. They should have kept him in forever in life.
Right.
But he did it again. He was going to sexually molest this boy, but in the end ended up killing him in his tub.
Wow. Wow, I couldn't imagine that. Wow. And you picture this in your head. That's like living a nightmare.
Over and over, every day. I never stopped thinking about this little boy. It's been since 2007 for this one.
Yeah.
And this is 2020. So, I mean, for 13 years, I lived this over and over. Every child case. And there's another one up there I'm sure we're going to talk about.
And these stories are in your book, right?
Absolutely.
So, guys, if you're interested, make sure to pick it up. Yeah, Vicky says here, the judicial system is so corrupt. You know what? Here's the thing. When it comes to sexual predators, I don't get it. Now, you have murderers. They go to jail for life. And I understand they're taking the life, right? These people are destroying a life. They're just, even if they don't murder the people, that person's life is affected for the rest of their lives. But yet they go to jail for only a couple of years and then they get out. You know how they do those the maps of the predators of your community? Yeah. I check it about 3-4 times a year. And just a couple months ago, a new predator moved in my neighborhood. I didn't get any notification of this guy, but he's like 80 years old. But he's a rapist. He raped a teenager years ago, and now he lives about a block away from me, and I have 2 girls. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not okay with this. But what do you do?
Yeah.
Just knowing that he's there it's the only thing I can do.
Yeah. You know, it's very disheartening. I mean, I've done a lot of these cases. I'm endorsed by MATH, Mothers Against Trafficking Humans. I've gotten girls out of the sex slave trade, girls chained in the basement. In that particular case, I'm talking about being chained in the basement is in my book.
Wow.
And there's another story of a young lady, which is on that page, which right there, we're looking at this sick individual here.
Yeah.
I got her daughter out of the sex slave trade. Now this little girl right here too, that was featured on America's Most Wanted. I'll talk about her in a moment.
Okay.
But you know, go further, go to Australia, and I have to befriend these people. And so can you imagine having to befriend these animals and to try to be like, you're my buddy, for not a day or two, for like, I got a case I'm doing right now. I've befriended this murderer for 3 years now. And mark my words, these guys are all on my social media too. They follow me. They think I'm their buddy. This one guy was an American. He was in Australia. And I had to set him up on Skype, which I did. And he sexually molested his stepdaughter. So in order to get him, I had to play like him. You know what I mean? That's the most sick feeling in the world. So when I did that, he opened up and we got this whole conversation. But I knew in the back of my mind, in my heart, that the daughter was going to read what we were reading or what we were doing. We needed her to open up. The first part, step 1, is to get him to say it. Step 2 is to get her to admit it. It didn't take long. She read that. Somehow she was reading what he was saying, and she went to the mom, and he ended up getting found guilty and served 7 years. He got 10, but served 7 in Ikea jail or prison in Perth, Australia. Now, he went by the name of John Ramses, but his real name was Michael Plattner. And thank God for my U.S. Marshal friends who dug deep and gave me the real name. And we got him all situated. And he served 7. Now he's out, but he's back in Utah. Red flags are up on him. They're still looking at him for cases over here, potential cases. Yeah, I mean,
wow.
It's not people go, I want to do what you do. I want to be able to do what you do because I know I got this. And I tell people, no, you don't. You know, I've escalated from day 1 to 30 years, and I've had guns pointed at me. I've had death threats from my family, me, all these guys. They follow me on my social media. You don't want any of that. It's not a game. Yeah. And I've learned along the way. And here's the thing, too. I went through to be a cop twice. Not only did I go through to be a cop twice, I can defend myself because I taught self-defense to what you would call SWAT in America. We call the True Team of Canada. And my teacher still teaches at the police college here where I am. And I've done it for years. I'm not a little guy. And I don't boast, but I am well built. So I'm not worried about me. And I don't, people out there who are just going to want to do this. It's not like you really think it is. Like when I go on a death scene and I get to question these guys, in which we'll get into a case where Andy DeLay, a great officer, I did several cases with him. When you're talking to suspects and you know that they got the cat eye on you from the house with a gun, right, with a scope, you're not going to, that's the only way they'll meet you and think. It's very, very scary, folks. We were in Butcher's Holler, and when I had the fire chief and the coroner and going after the sheriff because of corruption and everything else, and then they show up at your hotel with guns to shoot you while you're filming with America's Most Wanted. It's not a game. It's not a game. Yeah. So, I mean, I brought out the bad of it, and then there is a lot worse. But I'm glad I got to be able to speak this to people because, I lived this for 30 years, Yeah.
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 I couldn't. I mean, even Sam Thomas says, how do you look at this? Thank you for enduring such. I couldn't. These kids don't ask to be here. It's like, no, I couldn't. As being an empath, I have trouble looking at some of these images that are on your website just empathically. But you actually have, but what you do is you use your gifts to do such wonderful things. So that's amazing. It's amazing what you do here. And for you to share these stories, it's just that just makes it even all that much more powerful, I think. Here, let's see here. Now, where else? You said there was another.
Yeah, scroll down this page.
Oh, hold on. I clicked something. Okay, scroll down.
Back up for a minute. We'll go into a very good story, make everybody happy. Right here.
Bill Kiff.
Yeah. I'm in Virginia filming with Keith Age, the wrap-up of our so-called TV series in 2017. It was called Coexistence. It was the most haunted places in America. So for that whole summer, spring, we went all over the Midwest and found different places. We brought folks with us off the public to watch us do this and see what actually we caught, which we did catch quite a bit, and they seen a lot of things. The wrap-up was in Virginia, and I just landed, and I got this text message from a lady back in my hometown who has followed me, oh my goodness, for 20 years, maybe, I'm guessing. And Julie said, do you know anybody who can do a reading on my husband because the doctors declared him brain dead? And I said to her, I really don't know anybody because I really don't associate myself with other. I want to say that in the right terms, folks. Let me say this right. I don't have the time because when I'm out doing things all the time and I'm traveling doing murder cases, I really don't have a social life. I really don't. My social life is my girls, and that's it. So we're of course in Virginia. And I said, can they wait till Tuesday? And this is Friday. And I said, ask the doctors in the ICU if they'll wait. Well, damn, didn't they agree? And they said, yeah. So we were filming, and just by a miracle, everything got wrapped up on Saturday, late night, Sunday morning, early morning type thing. And I didn't get to sleep. So I jumped in the car with my wife, and we drove straight through back home, 12 hours. And we got back here late. I think it must have been, oh my goodness, Monday night, right around there. And then I tell Julie, I'll see you in the morning. So I get in the hospital. I meet Julie in the ICU waiting room. She hugs me. I hug her back. She punches in the code. We walk in the secure door, and we're in the ICU. And then there's Bill, who's not Bill anymore. And he's in this bed, and he had every tube you can think coming out of every orifice of his body, and every machine hooked up to him, and his eyes are open, and he's not there. He's brain dead. So I'm looking at this man, and I take my hat off, and I started praying. I said, Jesus, Lord Jesus Christ is my Savior. And so I pray to Jesus all the time. Yeah. So I said, Jesus, either let Bill speak something or have someone talk to me. I'm very nervous. I don't know what I'm doing here, really. And then all of a sudden I started hearing, clear as a bell. It's the wrong medicine. My brain is swollen, and it's going to take time for me to heal. And I just sat there for a minute, and I looked at Bill, and I looked in his eyes, and then I heard it again. And then I turned to Julie, and she goes, it's not good. And I said, no, and I hugged her again. And I said, look at Julie, this is what you got to tell the doctors. But by then, all the ICU stopped, and everybody was peeking in the door, and everybody's watching what I'm doing. And then I tell Julie, and I said, now you can have your moment, and I leave. I get back home, and she texts. The phone was going off the hook. She's going, the shit hit the fan. The doctor grabbed the chart, and he goes, couldn't believe what you said, and said, oh my God, pull the IVs. It's the wrong medicine. His brain is swollen. And so the doctor said, the best that we can do, and we're sorry, is that he'll be a vegetable, and he'll have to go to palliative care. And I said, the time to heal. You got to give the time to heal, because that's what I was told. Sure enough, Bill is like you, Shawn, and me, and Zuri, and he's just a normal human being again. He came out of it, and he's alive. Otherwise, they were going to pull the plug and kill him. But he's alive. So that's a good story that's in the book. There's more to it. It's in the book. It's more to it in the book. It went, oh my goodness, it went to NBC. A lot of major carriers carried that show, that story on their shows. I've done many shows about it. She came on, spoke about it. But Bill is a healthy human being. Thank God.
Awesome. Wow. That is awesome. And you helped him correct that. Hey, Zarina.
Yes. Oh, you guys remember I was here. What's up?
How's the rum?
Oh, I'm just multitasking.
Multitasking? You're not looking at the screen, though.
I was just, everybody was talking, so I was just kind of hanging out with doing my thing. So
you're not looking at the screen, though.
No, pretty much. I have to go at 8, though. I have an emergency, so I do. I apologize.
That's for you, Zarina.
I know.
I'm gonna miss doing this stuff, and you're not even reacting. You're being lame sauce right now.
Yes, I am. I'm being a bitch right now. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Sorry.
I did not say that.
No, we're good.
So you said you have an emergency. You gotta get going.
Yeah, at 8 o'clock. I'm sorry.
Are you sure? Do you need to? Is it like really important? Do you need to go now?
Yeah, pretty much. But I was gonna just try to do the right thing.
Well, you know what? You know what? It's fine. You know what? We all have emergencies. Things come up in life, right? So I understand. And I'm. It sucks that it's happening today, though. It's your last show, Zarina, and so many people.
Okay, I'm pretty sure
We're getting messages here.
Yeah.
We've got messages from people. Everyone's gonna miss you on the show. So I just wanted to send you off right. I was gonna wait because you were supposed to leave yet, but I poured you a little sauce. I'm gonna do a toast to you, Zarina, while you're still here. Do a toast to Zarina Crow. Crow, Crow. Thank you, Zarina, for everything.
You're welcome.
I can tell you're very distracted right now. Go handle your business. Zarina, thank you for everything you've done for the show. I hope that whatever you do from here, you just continue to grow. And I know that our friendship is going to continue to grow. So thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great show.
It was nice meeting you.
Bless, Zarina.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers to Zarina. Don Julio. All right. That was for Zarina. It sucks she had to go. But I can tell she's something's going on. So blessings to her, and hope that everything's okay.
Absolutely.
So that's part of doing a live show, guys. But luckily we have a lot of stuff to talk about here. I'll have to catch up with Zarina later because now I'm going to be worried about her.
Yeah, right.
So we were talking about a case. Sorry. Here, let's put this back up. So you use your abilities to not only help solve these cases and put bad people behind bars, you're able to use it to actually save people who are being mistreated in the hospital.
Yeah, that's very far in between rare. Say in my book, Signs from Heaven, there's a case in there about a lady. I shouldn't call her a girl, a lady who had, and she had tumors on her spine. And when I was talking with her, I know it doesn't have much to do with me. It comes from God. So it's got nothing to do with me. So when I was talking with her, the doctors couldn't believe how these tumors, over the course of the time period we were talking, she went for her next checkup, they shrunk. So they took her to Edmonton in Canada, Edmonton, Alberta, and they did more tests on her. And the doctors were amazed that, and she benefited that to me, and I told her it's not. I think what it was she had good faith, and God did that. It just happened to be that we were just talking, but that's a little story in there with a little bit more detail to it. But like you say here, Bill Kiff, I mean, that's raw and real. And that was true. That's just amazing how the angels came down for him, Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. And I'll tell you what, I had a mass form on my spine, and wow. So that's if it weren't for my friend who is a nurse practitioner, I could be paralyzed right now. So
yeah.
It's sometimes, we're very blessed to have certain people in our lives. So,
oh, absolutely. Thank God for everybody, really.
For sure. And where are we at? Nope, wrong one. Sorry. And so there. Sorry, I'm having some IT issues here today. I don't want that up like that.
That looks good.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Sorry, there's an ADHD moment, and now we're back. Okay, sorry. Zarina messaged me. She's going to take care of her business. So
good.
Yeah. So now on here, what was another case you kind of wanted to go over here, just so people can really get a good taste of what they can find in your book?
Okay. If you scroll back up to the yeah. Now, this gentleman here, I've done, like I said, several cases with him. I get a call. I believe, I'm trying to remember all these dates. It was like March, I think it was. And Andy's on the phone. He goes, she just went missing. The bolo went out at 9:30 in the morning. And this is like around 10-ish, 10:30-ish, I believe. He called me and he says, you have to find her. And I said, send me the case file. So normally when they send me the case file, I get the photograph and an MO of the individual, but I really don't read into who they are. I just look at the photo. So Charlene, her name's Charlene. Charlene was a lady who went missing, and they were looking for her in Florida. And I started giving him information. As I'm giving Andy information, he's on his radio, and he's sending information out to the other guys in the cars. And he's like really jumping the gun, and they're going down to the creek, and they're going down where I say there's rocks in the water. And then I said, no, Andy, I said, just give me a moment. I'm writing everything down. And I said, look, I see her on a bus. She takes the bus. It goes to a bay area. And he goes, wait a minute. And I said, yeah. And it's like, there's an open bay area, and there's lots of rocks in the area. There's a crosswalk, and people can actually walk on it visible. You can see. And he clicked in. He goes, that's Tampa Bay from, oh my goodness. It was a far away from where he was in Florida. I forget the town or city he was from. Anyways, now that we were talking, there was a few hundred police officers on ground looking. Turned out to be hundreds of police officers, and eye in the sky. And they were all going down towards Tampa Bay. Sure enough, they found her in Tampa Bay. And thank God she was still alive. And they brought her back to where St. Petersburg, Florida. So St. Petersburg to Tampa Bay. And they brought her back to St. Petersburg, and she's alive. The news broke at 12:30 that day. So if the news was on TV at 12:30 that they found her and she was alive, and I started at 10:30-ish, and in between was all the investigation and everybody to coordinate to do this. So within an hour, everything just went boom, and they got her.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy.
And there's a video he did a video testimony to. I don't know if you want to play it. It's there on one of those pages.
Let's see if we can find it. I can play it.
Can you? Oh, okay. Go to murder missing. You're there. Police endorsements. I think that'll be it right there.
Uh-huh.
And you can scroll down. There's a lot of police endorsements, but you'll find his video there. That's an FBI agent, and there's Andy. Keep going. Keep going.
That's it.
I remember, go to homepage.
Okay.
There's so much on that website anymore. I keep,
There's a lot here. So
yeah, there's a lot. You scroll down. Yeah, keep going to there he is right there.
That's it?
That's it right there.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's play it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Psychic Profiler Robbie Thomas, and what you're about to watch are some of the endorsements from law enforcement I've had the opportunity to work with over the years. And this is what they have to say.
Hello, my name is Andy DeLay. I'm a law enforcement officer in Pinellas County, Florida. My interaction with Robbie Thomas has been positive from the get-go. He soon came to London, Kentucky, where Robbie went to the scene with me and the family, and he used his talents to accurately put together what had happened in this fire. In fact, that it had happened by the men being robbed, beaten, and the home set on fire. Now, I definitely understand Robbie has these gifts given to him. I conducted my investigation with all my years of law enforcement experience, and it was done to law enforcement protocol. We found in the end that the person who Robbie felt through his gifts had committed this, or one of them that committed this, did give a deathbed confession about this. in the end, closure was made due to Robbie's gifts. The family was able to move forward. I was able to feel good and knowing that a crime was solved. I thank you, Robbie Thomas, for your gifts and the fact that you use your gifts to help not only law enforcement, but victims of these crimes when law enforcement comes to a dead end. Now, there's something that I've told Robbie, and I want everyone looking at this to know. Robbie to law enforcement is just like a drug dog. And you may think that that's not so nice, but it's actually a big compliment. We use canines to find drugs and illegal substances inside of houses and cars and to find people. Thank God we have them. Robbie has a gift from God that is just like a canine. We use his gift to find that little bit of evidence that we need to make closure to heinous crimes and to make the victims feel better about everything, and they can move on with their life with closure, knowing that those that they love did not die without justice being served.
Cliff Christ. I'm a former Texas police sergeant with over 25 years of law enforcement experience.
I'm just going to let it play.
I was contacted some years ago by Robbie Thomas to assist in the location of Paige Birchfeld. I found that all of Robbie Thomas's predictions and things that he saw during remote viewing to be factual. It was our job to attempt to locate the things that he had saw. Robbie was positive that the suspect in the murder was Lester Jones and predicted many things about Mr. Jones that have come true at this time. The area where Paige Birchfeld was, her remains were found. He had drawn pictures of the area. We searched up to that area. After the victim's remains were found, we did realize that we were less than a quarter mile from that location during our initial search. We did match some of the pictures that Robbie Thomas had drawn of the area to include signs pointing towards a horse farm, and they did match exactly. Personally, in all my years of law enforcement and investigative experience, I have never encountered a person that could be so spot on with all the information that he had given us, unless they were originally a suspect in this case. And of course, Mr. Thomas was nowhere near that location, so he couldn't have possibly known some of the things that he had given us. So I do feel that his abilities are 100% truthful and 100% way above bar as far as any other psychic remote viewer that I have ever dealt with before.
I'm Martha Hazard Decker.
Okay. I'm sorry. Wow. Hold on. Let me put my headphones on. Otherwise, everyone will hear every single alert I get through my phone and my computer. But what you do is, wow. I mean, we just heard two testimonies from police officers. And it's real. This is real life. And you take a gift that a lot of people would take as a burden, or they would maybe not take it as a burden, but they'll take it as a way to just make tons and tons of money and kind of I guess, for lack of better terms, whore themselves out, right? And what you do is you use your gifts to go and make our world a better place. I want to thank you for that. That is amazing.
You're welcome. I don't know what to say. I mean, you do it. Yeah, I've done, I don't know, so many cases over the time. It's just like you're seeing just a fraction of law enforcement and what they say. And the next lady who was speaking was a chief of police. And I've worked cases with her. Yeah, it's amazing. So
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. It's all God. I'm just able to do when they say, "Can you?" and I just do. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it anymore because I just do it.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine having a way to describe it, right? I mean, that's that. But I mean, we need people like you, like the first officer said. It's like the canine dogs. It's sometimes they do, and you see it in the movies where they go and they get into like a crossroads or a stalemate. And then in the movie, they find some sort of like cheesy way to make everything work out. Well, guess what? That's not real life.
No.
There's no cheesy real life ending, right? So that's where you come in. I'll tell you what, if something something ever happens, I'm calling you. Wow. Yeah, see? Sam. Good work, Robbie. This is here real quick, Chris, Nora, yes. The show is lucky enough to have a to be helped out by the Hinson House. So, guys, just to kind of throw this out there in the middle of the show, go and look up the Hinson House. They are always doing updates and fixing up the home. It's a paranormal research center now, and they can always use our help as investigators. So please make sure to check them out. But kind of get back on track. Sorry, that's my ADHD. But wow. So can you like now the paranormal investigator was like, so can you like walk into a place and kind of like do what you do, like kind of picture the things that happened maybe in the past?
Yeah. When we did Dead Whisper, the movie in 2005, I come off the Natalie Holloway case in Aruba. And the producer said to me, we have to stay back because everybody and their grandmother were combing the island. So the authority said, let's let it thin out a bit because our economy is falling. And everybody's just here just to search for Natalie. So we did. It was a big headache to them. So he says to me, what do you want to do? So let's fly to Chicago. So we flew to Chicago and we filmed at Al Capone's Speakeasy. I was the only guy they ever let in the Studebaker mansion. Nobody's ever been allowed back in afterwards. I uncovered things that they never wanted uncovered, and we put on the film. And the curator was not upset. He was more or less blown away by what we did. We had Christopher O'Brien was behind the camera back then, and he's on Ancient Aliens. 14-time award-winning producer Ronald Busby. We had Michael Esposito. I recruited these people because the producer said to me, "Will you do the recruiting in a week or two and find out what paranormal people you want to choose in America or Canada or wherever, and we'll fly them in and we'll make this movie." And I said, okay. So I did my homework and I knew who was who, kind of, because there was that many people in my hand you could find that were really doing paranormal back then. There really wasn't that many.
No, it's the truth.
People say I got 25 years. Well, there really wasn't that many people out there. I can tell you the truth. So I got Michael Esposito. He went to Iraq and he did psyops for your army. He was a double agent. He was an agent for America and for the Israelis. Not only that, he did frequencies. So when they sent out those transmissions to the Iraqis in the trenches, thinking there was thousands of Americans coming, and they gave themselves up to 10 guys, that was him. He was doing that stuff. Psyops, right? Yeah. Psychological warfare. Mm-hmm. I said, what better guy to have than him? So I asked him, and sure enough, he said, yeah, he's pure science. I said, sure. So I got him. I recruited the Indiana Ghost Trackers and a few other people. So we fly off to Chicago and we go to Al Capone's Speakeasy. I I have clips on YouTube. I wish I could have pulled them up for you and show people. I'm in the loft area, and there's 2 eras. There's the era of Al Capone, and then there's the Hell's Angels era. Now, 2 Hell's Angels were found dead on a Coke table, a glass Coke table, and there's Coke everywhere. And this one Al Capone speakeasy was right across the street from the Willowbrook Ballroom. So they can see clearly where if the cops were coming, and these guys would hide behind the wall. Same with Al Capone. So I got the chance to stand behind the wall, and I seen the old candles that were still there. And it was amazing. It was just, Al Capone used to be here. But prior to that, I'm in my hotel room. It's about 4:30-ish, 5 in the morning. And I wake up, and there's this guy right there, uninvited. And he's going, grab a pen and paper. So I do. And he's telling me, write this stuff down. So I'm just writing this stuff down. He goes, I'm the waiter. So I went, the waiter. And he goes, like the photograph, and underline it. So I did. I like the photograph, and I underline it. And he gave me all these other particulars, and I'm writing it all down. So I go wake up Christopher O'Brien, and I said, all this shit just happened in my room. You ain't going to believe it. And I'm showing him, and he goes, wakes up the producer, and he's going, oh, shit, this better be good. He goes, you're waking us up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and we got to film very shortly. We filmed like 18-hour days for like over a week. And so we went back down to Al Capone Speakeasy, which was owned by Don Crest. Now, Don Crest is the fire chief on Chicago Fire. So he owned it at the time. So we go to Don, and I hand him this paper, and Don's jaw falls. And he runs down this long hallway, and he goes into the little office. It comes out, and he goes, I had this in a box. And he brings the box, and it's like almost dust. And he brings it, and goes, there's a photograph. And it's Al Capone on a grassy hill sitting with his sister and a bunch of thugs. But the guy sitting next to him was Paul Ricca, the waiter. And that was his name, Paul Ricca, the waiter.
Whoa.
The reason he got that nickname is because he's the one who killed everybody and chopped them up. It was Paul Ricca, the waiter. Don was blown away. We were all blown away. That started it right there. Getting into the loft area now, Don goes, you can't go up there because I made a deal with them. They almost pushed me out the window one day. You can't go up there, and it's very high. So I went up there, and I started talking, and you hear the recording. I wear a rosary around my wrist. And you hear him over top me. He goes, Jesus doesn't want me. Right on film. And I said, I know you're dead. Why don't you go to the light? And he goes, Jesus doesn't want me. And then I started getting the guy's name. And it's like, going, we're in the loft. And I forget the guy's name. Damn it. Anyways, because the story's so exciting. I forgot the guy's name. So I started getting to say Billy. So I say, Billy. And it was wrong. It wasn't Billy. It was like Willie.
Yeah.
Came off by a letter. And then we find Coke buried in the floor. Stosh. That was the guy's name, Stosh. But it was Stash. I go, you got Stash here? Because I know you died of Coke. You got Stash in this room. So everybody's going, yeah, there's probably drugs everywhere. You got Stash. And the guy's name was Stosh. And
wow.
the drugs were actually in the floor. We found the fucking Coke in the floor.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You are a freaking drug dog. That's awesome. Okay, real quick, Teresa Slowitsky. Hi, Teresa. She says, did your gift assist law of enforcement with one particular case? And if so, how did it go from there in respect to your reputation? Teresa must be tuning in a little bit late, but that's okay. I can talk about this all night.
No, that's great. A lot of people want to know where it started, when it all began, right?
Exactly.
Okay. I was a child. I used to talk about the other worlds, aliens, other beings, worldly beings. I knew that, and I'm going to bring this into the show because it's really cool. I'm just doing it right now.
Okay.
I used to say to my mom, am I adopted or do I have a sister out there? And I'm 2 or 3 years of age saying this. Back in the 60s, if you were a mother and you had a child out of wedlock, the Roman Catholic Church would take your baby and give it up for adoption. So this man promised my mom the world, yada, yada, yada. My mom gets pregnant. he doesn't marry her. So my mom's on a loan, right? Just by herself. So now the Roman Catholic Church comes in and she can't take care of the baby with her mom and dad. So they take the baby, give it up for adoption. 1994, the day before my mother died, or actually the night before my mother died, I had the 4 horsemen visit me. And the one stopped. It was the White Horseman. He told me, don't worry about it. Your life's going to be taken care of. Everything's going to be fine. It's almost like a movie, and it's like a fairy tale type thing. Sleep paralysis. Everybody knows that is. Yeah. I couldn't move. And I'm looking at this dude in my room, and he's telling me all this and showing me what's going to play out. After that's done, I go over to my mother's house like every day for coffee and tea, or coffee and toast. So I go over there. That particular day, she never hugged me. She never turned to look at me. She was just making toast. And it was kind of odd. So I sit down. I said, I'm really compelled to tell you. And I said, this is what happened last night. It's really stupid. I don't know if I tell you, but I'm going to tell you. And I told her. She told me go home and she'll watch my daughter and she'll call later. So I had that push-pull factor where I wanted to stay. I know something's wrong, but I had to go because she asked me. So I go back home. Now I'm home in the kitchen with my wife, and my best friend came over. Phone rings. It's my father on the phone. He's screaming at the top of his lungs. It's your mother. It's your mother. It's your mother. I told her that she was going to die that day. That was the message. Wow. So then I'm at home. I race over there with my best friend. I remember the gurney coming out of the house. I remember her little purple sock, her hand dangling over the side, and the guy doing compressions. They bring her to the hospital. Get in the doorway of the emerge, and the guy on top's doing compressions. And as they bring her through, I heard what she said. So did the guy on top, but no one else did. And he looked at me and goes, did she just say that? And I said, yeah, did you hear that? And he heard exactly, but she was dead. She was dead. They bring her in. The doctor comes out and says she died. I get pulled aside now. And my family said, she's been looking for you. And I said, who's looking for me? Remember the part I told her she was adopted out? Yeah. She said, your sister. So you were right all these years since a child that you weren't adopted. You have a sister out there. And holy shit. So then I met Mary. Mary's a spitting image of my mom. And Fox did a special. And it was just amazing how the reunification and everything like that, right? So that's where it all began, young lives and everything. I went through to be a cop twice. My first case after, while I was going through to be a cop, was in 1990. I'm talking to a good friend of mine who's a manager of an apartment building. Over his shoulder as a gentleman walking to the foyer entrance of the apartment building. And I see a black shroud around this guy. Whenever I see black around somebody, they're evil. They're bad. They've done something bad, right? So from 1990, I've learned a lot of myself in conducting what this all means. So I watching him. Greg looks at me saying, you want to go meet him? His name's Jesse. And I said, sure. And this is one of the first stories in my book. And so we ended up in Jesse's apartment. Jesse's sitting there. And if you could picture a sawed-off Eddie Van Halen, 5 foot, nothing. This guy was identical. So he's sitting right there. My line of questioning was like a cop. Did you do something bad? Did you do something? Do you work? Is something wrong? You know, I'm like this. And he goes, are you fucking hot? Stand up. So I stood up. It's not cluing in, right? And he lifts up my shirt and he starts checking me around my waist. He's looking for a wire.
Wow.
Right? Shirt. He shoves me down in the chair and he stands at me and he's pointing. He goes, you want to fucking know? He goes, we were ripping off a car stereo and then Thomas Cook wanted to go and rob the gas station. So Thomas Cook and him took off to the gas station. And he goes, he had a gun, and he like this. And you should have seen him. He was hopping like a rabbit. But while he was talking to me and saying that, he had a grin on his face. And I'll never forget that grin. By then, Greg, who was in the apartment with me, was at the door, leaving, and he goes to me, get the fuck out. So I get up, and as I get to the door, he grabs my shoulder, pulls it back, and he goes, if I tell anybody, because he told me the whole confession of where they all went. And he goes, I'll kill you. And he shoved me out the door. Well, I didn't know this case was going on in my hometown. I was like obliterated, did not know. I go talk to the detectives. Detectives wanted me to go back and wear a wire, befriend this guy, get him to confess again, to say everything that he just told me. And I said to them, no, are you kidding me? Because he already made me. And I already got what I got for you, right? Well, he said he'd get off on a technicality. He got off on a technicality. He had a good alibi. His family lied for him, got off on an alibi.
Wow.
This poor young man came from Quebec, Canada. He was 14 years of age, working in a little cubicle, making probably, I think back then, $1.75 an hour. And they only got $20 out of the freaking gas station anyways. And they ended up killing poor Mark Campbell. But they got off on their technicality. Karma's a bitch. And it's sad that I have to say it that way. And I got to explain it the right way for folks. But Thomas Cook decided, I'm going to kill my girlfriend. And he saran wrapped her face so she couldn't breathe. And he held her arms like this. And he watched her die in front of him. And then he gave himself up. So now he's in jail for life. But still, Brad is out there, a.k.a. Jesse. He's out there and he's walking free. But I've had numerous run-ins with his brother. Whoa. And I told his brother, and his brother thinks like, it's not true, and what it's true, Yeah, that's the type of thing when I'm talking to people. Don't ever put yourself in harm's way. Don't ever think you're the psychic of super psychics and you're the crime fighter of super cape and you're going to do it. I was a fool back then. I was a complete fool for putting myself in that position. He could have killed me. So don't ever think you're that. Don't ever think you're that.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
Yep.
Is that on your website?
No, that's not on my website. No. Go to my website. Bring that back up. Yeah, my website.
Wow, that's insane though. You're talking to this guy. You put it all together just while you're talking to this guy.
Yeah, it's not the first time. And being planted in. Go to that little girl on my page. I got to tell people.
Okay.
Scroll down. Are you on Murder Missing Persons Cage?
No. I am not. Let's go.
Go there.
Okay.
Scroll down till you see little Victoria. Right there.
Oh.
Okay. America's Most Wanted featured this. John Walsh did. And when America's Most Wanted filmed me, the cameraman told me at breakfast to go, John knows all about your work and he's very proud of you and all this, right? I mean, my head got this big at breakfast. It did. I mean, my whole day was just concentrating on John Walsh knows who I am, you know what I mean? Whatever. But yeah, back in 2012. So I don't, anymore. It's whatever. But anyways, this poor beautiful angel right here. 2009, April. And she goes missing. And I go down and meet the family. And I sent all my drawings down first. All my, I drew the pile of rocks. Okay, we'll start over from the beginning. I'm in my living room. And my wife is adjacent from me. And I look at her and I go, there's a little girl going to go missing very soon. Because I seen it. And she goes, not another one. I said, yeah. Blonde hair little girl, about 9. And she's going to go into a tree line. And that's when I started all my notes. 2 days before she went missing. And there's something I want you to play for the folks on here in a second after I describe this story.
Okay.
So I do all my drawings. I do all my notes. And I show the program director to 99.9 the Fox FM in my hometown. Because I've done a lot of shows on that program. I wanted him to see it to be proof. And you'll hear what he has to say after this. So I go down. I give all to Detective Brown, all my notes. I'm in precinct while the father's taking his lie detector test. And she asked me, is it him? I said, it's not him. You're looking for a woman and a man. And they were all they had was a grainy video of a woman leading poor little angel Victoria away from school. That's all they had. They didn't know there was a man involved. So they had all this information. I said she went missing in the tree line, big pile of rocks and rubble, Mennonite people, horse and buggy, carriage, wagon wheels. And just like Andy, when I'm saying all this stuff, they're sending cops out right away. Because, it's desperate to look for this child. And they're going to every house that had a wagon wheel on it. I'm not kidding you. They're knocking on the doors, walking in the houses, and trying to find this girl, right? Sadly, when I wrote down Gulch, on the because I put names and everything, like, you know, she was missing in Guelph, not Gulch.
Oh,
They found her in Guelph, so I was just off by a little bit. You know what I mean? And when it comes in like that so quick, it's just everything goes on the paper, from names, dates, everything. So where they found her was in the tree line, big pile of rocks and rubble. The laneway went to the Mennonite village, and there was horse and buggies. The letter from the family is on my front page, and you can read it, and people can read it at their own time. But I got planted in the mother's house because the father and the mother were estranged. The father's beating the path, going out there, pounding on doors, looking for his daughter, and the mother never left once. There's a lot of suspicion behind the mother because they know that she knew something of what was going on. So I'm in the house. I'm planted. My name is John. I have to get a read on her and the guy that's in there. Guy wouldn't look at me. And I'm looking at the mom, and it's like, wow, you know, all she cared about was they took her name off the donation list for all the money that was coming in for her daughter. They came in, took her computer. They took her coat. You know, evidence, right? And then I'm looking around this house, and I mean, the counter was full of every liquor bottle you can think. The floor, everywhere, it's just full of liquor. And I know people mourn in different ways, but this lady never shed a tear. She never said anything like anything that was the norm. You know what I mean? Of a parent missing a child. If you were missing your child, you'd be out there in every house, pounding the pavement, looking. Not once. Right? So I go back and I talk to Detective Brown, and I tell her, you know, this is what I got. You know, but the funny thing was, they were looking for her backpack. And I had this set thing hit me as I'm leaving the back door. Look under the deck. Look under the deck. So I turned and I pried the lattice a bit and then look under the deck. And there's a backpack under the deck. But you had to take the lattice or something, break it, put it in there, and put it back up. So the big excuse was, oh, the police are watching me, and we put beer in it so we could hide the beer so they wouldn't find us. But wait a minute, you've got tons of liquor bottles everywhere. So you know, this case was just like weird. Mom gets busted for Oxycontin afterwards, like in her trunk and stuff. There's more to this case that people don't know, right? Anyhow, 2 people get arrested. They're in jail. They're still in jail for this beautiful little girl. And are we here? We're back.
My internet must have. Sorry about that. I think that was.
Oh, are we back?
We are back. I think my internet just kind of. I think, you know, we're supposed to be getting a storm. I think that might be coming now. I don't know. Okay. But sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good because, like, I bring my family, like I said, and my family actually got to meet this family, and they still write me. I have letters from the family. You know, like the letter that's on my front page, actually in the book from the family on this case. And there's much more to this case in the book. So people get a chance to read it. You'll go in depth with me on scene and see how it all played out. But if you quickly go to media.
Media appearances?
Can't read that. It's so small.
There's media.
No, not that. No, not that. I'm gonna find it for you.
TV series?
No, it's there's a clip I want everybody to hear. I'm gonna try to find it for you. Okay, go to about Robbie Thomas.
Right there.
Scroll down. Keep going. That's a television special I did. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Right there, Fox. There's another one. There's Kaylee. No, that's Kaylee Anthony from Florida. Yeah, that one right there. Now, listen to what he says to everybody. How he says, I showed him all the evidence before they found her. You got to listen to what he says. Play that one.
Okay.
Well, but at the same time, I mean, you're doing these sketches and these thoughts before anything ever comes out, before they even go and investigate it or even find out some of these details. I remember you off air talking to me about the Tory Stafford case and saying those exact things before they ever even investigated that part. So I know you were telling me stuff that eventually came true.
Right, exactly.
You know, I'm kind of a skeptic myself, so I believe it. Yeah, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's not the first time that a case has come before a case has happened. And unfortunately, it's like you're a beacon, and when it happens, and then, you know, you wait, because it's like it's synchronicity. I get it, and then I get the call, and I already got the information. And it's really weird how that happens, Shawn. I don't know how to explain it. It just happens.
It's incredible. It's incredible. You're like a messenger. That's incredible.
An antenna or something. I don't know. Yeah.
So, I mean, Teresa, here I'm going to, Teresa says, you obviously, your spirits speak to you all the time. So with this, I mean, have you had any sort of like training as like a psychic medium or anything like that? Or is this just something that kind of came to be?
No, it's a natural ability. I've never had training.
Okay.
I've never went to anybody. I've been asked to teach, even by law enforcement. Law enforcement has asked me, can you teach? I wish there was more days or hours in the day. I mean, there just isn't, right? I mean, I could tell you honestly, my email is like 3, 4, 5 a day come in, and then my messenger gets like, can you help us out in this case? Can you help? So it's like dozens and dozens a month. So where do you start? Where do you end? And then you add in the years, and the pile of the cases just keep going, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I got to tell you what, man. Some freaking cool people come out of Canada. I'll tell you what. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Les Stroud. Like, seriously, like, he is the survivor man. He's the survivor man. He's from Canada. He had a TV show back in the day on the Discovery Channel where he would show people to, you know, survival. And he literally took the cameras and like would place them down, and like he was his own camera crew. And he showed people how to he was from Canada. I didn't realize he was from Canada until kind of recently. And then, I mean, Dan Aykroyd, the original Ghostbuster.
Right.
I mean, oh man. That's awesome. And then you have you coming out of there freaking just solving cases and putting people at rest. That's amazing. It's amazing. I couldn't imagine having that and knowing what to do with the information that you get. How did you know what to do? Like, obviously, at some point in time, you're like, I'm getting these like weird information from somewhere. I need to do something with it. I mean, how are you able to put those puzzles? I don't know. I don't think a lot of people can do that.
The processing is now it's easy. But back, a long time, it was very difficult. How do I find myself? How do I conduct myself? It was very tedious. Yeah. And looking back at everything and how to do it without saying, like, you heard the one cop, Sergeant Cliff Christ, he said, unless you were a suspect, right?
Right.
No.
So you're going to know.
Right. And then how did I get to the point where they know I'm not the suspect or that they trust me? It took a long time to build up my credibility because it's. And here's another question people say, well, I want to work and how? Well, here's the facts. I'm going to be truthful about everything here for people to know is that you have to be real. I mean, they're going to want you to go there and say names and exact locations. You heard Andy DeLay say, I brought him to London, Kentucky. I found the knife that the guys were killed with. I mean, you have to find the weapon. You can't go around for months and years and thinking, no, you have to give them precise, like there. You have to give them the name like there. And that's how it is. And that's how I found it ever came to me. And you know what? I'll tell you something. It could end tomorrow. And then it's not me. It's going to be you, Shawn. You know what I mean? You would get the call, right? I mean, it's all up to God. I mean, that's how it is, you know?
Yeah, I'm definitely a believer in that for sure. I'm very spiritual person. I call myself a spiritual Catholic because I'm Catholic, but yet here I am an empath trying to figure out my path in all of this.
Yeah.
And in the Catholicism, they teach you to steer away from this.
Well, here's the funny thing. I'm Catholic. I spoke at Catholic schools. When I went to church, they always used to come to me before Mass. So what are you doing now, Robbie? Where are you working? And I'm telling you, that's the clergy people asking me. Yeah, so they know. In Boston, the head bishop there, I did a case. I worked the Rolling Stones murder, Brian Jones. And I wrote the foreword to award-winning screenwriter Gloria Shepherd's book. I forget the title, something like Brian Jones, the founder of the Rolling Stones murder, something like that. And he got brought into it somehow. And after that, I don't know if word spreads like wildfire or whatever, but I get Catholic priests who want me to go on exorcisms with them. And they call me. Yeah, it's like, that's not my gig. You know what I mean? It's not my gig. Yeah.
Do you find yourself in like situations where you need to call upon or pray for Saint Michael or anyone else for extra protection while doing this?
And the Saint Michael right here on my arm, right?
Yeah.
And I can't get that to the camera, right? If I could, there you go. Saint Michael, and there's the devil, right?
Yeah.
When you're a police officer, that's your patron saint.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Saint Michael. When I put that guy in jail in Kentucky for murdering that 4-year-old boy, I got that put on my arm for him, the little boy. Yeah. So that's for that little boy in Kentucky.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's a tattoo I've been wanting on my back for a while. So
there you go.
That's incredible. And to be able to you're going through this, and you said you've been doing this since 78, right? I was born in 78.
Yeah.
And I know growing up in the 90s where the activity that I was living with, I didn't know who to go to. I was actually brought up Jewish, and I didn't know what to do. My mom was just like, "Oh, just ignore it."
Right.
And it just wasn't that easy for me. And so it's just like, what do you do? I think the most there was maybe like a show that came on every once in a while. You know, people didn't talk about it. It wasn't okay. You try to talk to your friends about it, people think you're crazy. You're like, oh, you're crazy. You're imagining things. This is like real. And when I was in day camp, I somehow knew that my great grandmother passed. And I was away at day camp. I would go for a month out of the summer. They wouldn't let me call home. They're like, "You're homesick." I'm like, "I'm not homesick. I just need to call home. There's something's wrong." Right.
Yeah.
And then as soon as my mom pulled up in my great grandmother's car, I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
And my mom sat me down, and I was more shocked that I already knew than I was of her death.
Right. Right.
How do you piece that together back then?
Well, back in the early 90s, I had a forums called Robbie Thomas Forums. People from around the world would come, and they still follow me on social media today. I got a lot of them on my Facebook. They once in a while post whatever, but they've been following me since the 90s. My first 1-hour television special was 2003. So I went on and I did a 1-hour special in the capital of Canada, which went syndication on 3 satellites and into the States. Because like you say, there's nothing like this. Like John Edward was just like, getting known kind of like, you know what I mean? There's nobody out there. But yeah. And when Keith H seen me, he was in Canada doing Haunting Canada or some Creepy Canada. He watched me on TV and he goes, on my right hand, I can count how many people are in the paranormal. He goes, there's only like 5 people in the world. And I said, this is an exaggeration. Right. Back then, there really wasn't anybody in it. I can take people back to 2000, like I said, 1978. I got pictures of when I brought Haunting Evidence TV show. I brought Keith. I brought Ghost Hunters International, Shannon Sylvia, everybody in my hometown. I put on this great big convention here in my own hometown. And I brought them to my very first haunt in 1978. And that picture's still there in the museum. So they got to see a grandfather of paranormal. Like, you know, I mean, we talk about grandfather people in paranormal. There are some, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, Zaphis and everybody else, right? But yeah, but, you know, there's people out there who've been in it and done it and got, what do you call it, documentation of really doing it. That goes back, and I'm looking back at my career, and I'm going, I wanted to retire, Shawn. I wanted to retire and quit. My career, I mean, I'm set in life. I'm just done, right? Yeah. And then all these producers keep coming and going, we're going to give you your show. We're going to let you do it the way you want to do it, and you're going to own the show, and you're going to, and I'm thinking, ugh. So I got to go talk to the boss, which is the wife.
Right.
Yeah. So I signed a contract with Dog the Bounty Hunters, one producer who worked with the show, and an Emmy Award-winning director. Last year, my contract ran out, and then I said to my wife, I said, I'm done. I don't care anymore. I've done so many cases. I've helped so many people. I'm done. And then got an email, January 12th. Can I speak to you? Oh. Okay, can I speak to you? And it was another producer, and it went on that they were the ones who actually did Dog the Bounty Hunter, and they wanted to offer my show. Let me do it the way I want to do. So right now, everything was coming down to signing and getting it all done. I had all the cast members, all law enforcement, everybody all over America, from chief of police to lieutenants to everybody, going to do the show for the purpose of families only. That's what I wanted. Everybody agreed, and we were going to do it. The pandemic hit. So here we are. We're sitting on it, and we're waiting. Once it's done, I'm heading out there, and I'm going to put every freaking asshole I can away in jail that deserves to go in jail.
Awesome. That's incredible. And that's going to be your show. I want to watch it already. So
yeah, it's going to be titled Robbie Thomas. I mean, really, let's do it now.
Right. Screw this pandemic. I mean,
right.
That's awesome.
Right.
So
coming to a close.
Yes. I have found your book on Amazon.
Good.
So guys, you can find it. He's right here on Amazon. And awesome. I'm gonna order it. I gotta hear more. I gotta read more. I gotta hear more about this. This is incredible. This really is wow. And I can't wait to see. They're definitely gonna see a lot more of you. This is incredible. So thank you so much for having me. Oh, it's definitely my pleasure, guys. Go to RobbieThomas.org and you can .net. Sorry.
There's no orgy going on here.
Oh my goodness. That is my day job coming out. Sorry. That was a brain fart or puke, whatever you want to call that. But go to RobbieThomas.net. Here it is. I put it in the comments a while back when the show first started. I'm going to put it back in there. And it's also going across the ticker on the bottom there. Guys, make sure to check it out and get his book. It's like I said, it's on Amazon. You can get it real quick, and it'll be there in a couple days. It's Prime, so man, this pandemic needs to go away so that we can all get back to normal life and get back to all of our projects.
Yes. Want to come to tour in Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Kentucky, Pennsylvania? I'm going to hit it all.
That's incredible. Oh, I'm here in Ohio, so hit me up while you're in town. And, oh, wow. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming on. And it's been a blast. It's been so much fun hearing about all of your experiences and sharing your stories and everything. Guys, this is what his book looks like. I'm a visual person, so I like to share this visually. This is his book. Guys, go and find it. And man, I could only imagine how much more amazing these stories are. So
yeah, real quick, when I'll leave everybody with you. Remember the baseline killers in Arizona?
Yeah,
they were shooting people in Arizona.
Yeah.
Well, the Chief of Police Kevin Smith, who filmed with me in America's Most Wanted, he was international police chief, doesn't believe in psychics, and he pulled me on his television show, and he popped the question about these guys, and I gave him all the information, and sure enough, they went and arrested those two guys, and he goes, "I'll work with you anytime," and sure enough, we filmed with America's Most Wanted in Butcher's Holler.
Wow.
Greatest guy. Yeah, he passed away. He was a great friend of mine. Yeah, great guy.
Awesome. Well, hey, I look forward to hearing more about you. I look forward to getting the book as soon as we sign off here. I'm going to complete my order because I need to read more. I read your website, but I didn't get a chance to get the book. So I'm excited. So hey, no problem. I'm always happy to support, and I hope that that people continue to reach out, guys. So thank you again, Robbie. I really do appreciate you coming on. It's been a blast. You're welcome to come on. Oh, no problem. You're welcome on anytime. So thank you.
Have a great night, guys.
Hey, too. Have a great night. And everybody else, have a great night. I hope that we helped you over this hump day. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of the week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and let's try and keep everything positive, guys, and spread that love. All right?
Absolutely. God bless.
Oh, God bless. Thank you.
Thank you.